This video is gonna piss a lot of people off. I can already see it in the comments. Hey mate, I have a Beneteau Bavaria something and it's always been amazing. I took it to the moon and back 2 times and it's a great boat. Yeah, sure mate. I can actually do the Rally Dakar in the 1980s Volkswagen Beetle, or I can even cross the Atlantic rowing on a dinghy. People have done it. That doesn't mean it's the best tool for it. These days, every freaking thing is a blue water boat. It's incredible. If you ask a salesman, well, does this boat take me everywhere I want to go? Yeah, sure, this is an amazing go anywhere blue water boat. Can I take it to the Antarctica? Sure you can. Will I be safe? Well, you see, that's the problem. Blue water nowadays doesn't mean anything. It just means that you can cross an ocean or something. Sometimes not even that. But trust me, you can cross an ocean in a freaking dinghy. So what? There's no more blue water boats. It's all bull. Sorry, I'm a little bit. I get like this because I'm passionate about this. I like it. I like boats. I like the safety aspect of it and also the fun aspect of it. And when you get these people telling you that everything is a freaking blue water boat, it just. Well, anyway, from now on, I'm gonna start using the term white water boat because blue water boats keep you safe in an ocean that looks like this. Yeah, it's not really the best day out, but a white water boat is supposed to keep you safe in an ocean that looks like this. This is Starry Night, a courageous, plucky sailboat who has only one dream: to sail around the world and have lots of adventures. No, not like that. It's around the world, not through it. But not everything was going to plan. Starry Night was abandoned on the heart for 12 full years. But one day, he found us. My name is Paulo, and this is Caterina, and these are our 2 very overactive kids. After a crazy amount of work, Starry Night is once again ready to sail the oceans. So sit back, relax, and join us in this adventure, and we will all find out together where Starry Night will end up next. To have the best chances of surviving a sea state like this, you need a very special boat. And not even Delos, the darling of YouTube blue water boats, is good enough for what I'm talking about. So let's find out how you can identify a proper white water boat. Let's start with the easy stuff. Stuff that you can see just by looking at a boat. You're at anchorage, a boat arrives, you look at it, and you can immediately know if it's a whitewater boat or not. Jerry cans on the deck. If it has jerry cans on the deck, chances are it was never built for it. Because the reason you put jerry cans on the deck, it's because your tanks are too small. And if your tanks are too small, it means that when the boat was being built, they didn't give enough priority to tank capacity. Delos actually has pretty big tanks. I think 1,000 liters of diesel and 1,000 liters of water, plus a water maker. That's pretty good. That's not where Delos falls short. Next, where is the cockpit located? If it's one of those boats where you're hanging out the back, just waiting for a big wave to crush on you, that's not a whitewater boat. You want to see a cockpit? It doesn't need to be in the center of the boat, but it needs to be protected. And you can clearly see which boats have a protected, high combing cockpit easily. So yeah, that's one of the things that Delos actually does pretty well as well. It has center cockpit, it's center-ish, and it's well protected from the elements, so good for Delos there. How many masts does the boat have? This is one of those that's gonna piss a lot of people off, but the only reason boats nowadays only have one mast, even though they tell you it's because of the advancements in winch technology and that you have the power to control big sails just because the winches are more powerful and therefore you don't need the mast, this is not really it. The reason why they don't have 2 masts is because it's way more expensive. You have to have 2 riggings, 2 sails, well, 3 if you count the Genoa, and you have to have support inside the boat to carry that second mast. So it's so much cheaper to make one big mast with one big sail than making two masts with smaller sails. Here's the problem. It's much safer and easier to manage two small sails than one big one. And also, if you have two masts and if they are independently rigged, you have redundancy. Even if you lose one mast, you still have the other one. Now, Delos doesn't make it into this category because although it has two masts, the main and the mizzen mast, they are connected by tri-state. They are connected on the top to one another. And the problem is that when you lose a mast, it brings the other one down. This happened to, I think it's Sailing Aquarius, just a couple of months ago. They were crossing the Atlantic. They did a jibe, I think. I don't know if it was a jibe, but they lost the main mast and it brought the mizzen mast down with it. So what you actually want for a whitewater boat is two masts independently rigged so that you have smaller sails, lower down, and also the center of gravity is brought lower down because the sails are spread over the boat, and you get a lot more sailing options. You can use just the genoa and the mizzen. It's called jib and jigger. Or, you know, it's so much better. For a whitewater boat, what you need is two masts. We've seen some things that you can immediately identify once you see the boat. Now, these next things, you need to either get inside the boat or know about it to identify if it's a whitewater boat or not. One of these things is an interior helming station. Here's the thing. When you get into very rough conditions, your autopilot, it's not going to work 100%. It works 90% of the time, but once you get picked up by a wave and you get turned around, because you know that happens, your autopilot is gonna go like beep 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 beep. Oh, this is an overload system. I can't do anything. So it might be needed for you to stay at the helm for hours and hours on end, because you know the autopilot is just isn't doing it. And if you have to stay outside in the cockpit, maybe in the freezing rain, that's gonna suck. Not only is it gonna suck, it will lead to extreme fatigue, and it's not a very good thing. So if you can have a full manual helming station inside the vessel, that's a very good thing. And that should be mandatory in a whitewater vessel. Another thing that most people overlook is the hull to deck joint, or the deck to hull joint. Most sailboats, what they do is they build the hull separately, then they build the deck separately, then they glue them together and they put some screws to screw the deck and the hull together, and that's it. That's all they do. Now, in the first 5-10 years, everything is fine because the glue is doing its job. But as time goes on and the boat flexes, the glue begins to break down and the hull and the deck start to not be connected to one another. You see it all the time. There's a lot of leaks that come this way. But it's not just the leaks. The boat loses rigidity because it's not one piece. It's not as rigid and it's not as strong. In the case of Delos, and this boat for that matter, the hull is built in two parts as well. It's put into place and then it's laminated all around to the hull, so it makes it a one piece. And it makes it very rigid, and you will never have leaks in the deck to hull joint. Through hulls. Through hulls, you know, this boat has 16 through hulls. It looks like a freaking Swiss cheese. The guys that fitted it for the first time decided that it would be easier to make a hole next to each appliance. You have a sink, you have two holes, one for water to come in, another for water to come out. And that's something I will have to fix later when I have the time and the budget. Now, Delos does this very well. The Super Maramu has a sea chest, which means that they have one through hull, and then through that one through hull, the water gets distributed for where it needs to go, which is pretty good. Because when you have a a situation when there's water entering your boat. If the water goes above the point of water entry, it is very difficult to find where the water is coming in, especially if it's not gushing with pressure, because everything is underwater and it's going to be really difficult to find where the leak is. And if you have, like in our case, 16 through holes, you need to go around closing all the holes and checking everything. So a true whitewater boat should have maybe one through hole, maybe best yet, none at all. You can always have a system where the through hole or where the water comes in is above the water line, and you have a vacuum pump to suck water. So even if something happens to the hose or the pump or whatever, the water will be always below the water line. Here's one that gets people really upset, and I really don't understand why. I don't understand why they get upset. It's bolt-on keels. You don't need to be a genius or an engineer to understand that something that is bolt-on, it's more likely to become unbolted than something that is built in one piece and has no bolts to check, no maintenance, and it has no way of it falling off. So, but for some reason, people are like, no, bolt-on keels are just as safe. What? Are you kidding me? They are safe, don't get me wrong. They can do the job. They can. But are they the best option? No, they're not. They're not the best option. So, yeah, sorry. I get a little emotion about yeah, sorry. Anyway, so Delos has a bolt-on keel. It has the masts connected together so that if one falls, the other one is going to come down with it. It doesn't have an interior helming station, although the helming station is very protected. And for those reasons, it is not a good whitewater boat. But it is an excellent boat. It is an amazing vessel. Don't get me wrong. It's just that there are better options. There are better boats. And when you're looking for your sailboat, if you can get some of these things, if safety is your main priority, for instance, in our case, we want to go down to the Drake's Passage, and we want to come back through, so we want to do it the wrong way, and we want to come back through the Northwest Passage. Now, I need a freaking boat that I am absolutely sure that the keel is fine, and I'm absolutely sure that the masts are fine, and even if there's a problem with one of them, I still have another. And those are big things for me. Unfortunately, the Super Maramu tends to lose its front fall off. No, the masts tend to fall off. There are at least 5 reported instances of the main mast of a Super Maramu breaking. There was some kind of problem with the poles or something, I don't know. You have to check Aquarius channel. They just lost their mast and they know all about it. So, yeah, again, I'm sorry. This is a little bit emotional to me because I see people saying a bunch of stuff that, you know what it is? People buy a boat, and then whatever the boat they have immediately becomes the best boat that there is and the best option that there is. So if someone bought a boat and it has a bolt-on keel, immediately their brain starts to look for answers and reasons why the bolt-on keel is just as good as an integral keel. It's just being human. But come on, don't kid yourself. Just admit what you have, admit what you can improve and what you can't. This boat is not perfect. Trust me, it's not. It has a bunch of through holes. It's not perfect. But I know what I have and I'm conscious of what it can do. So just because you have what they call a blue water boat, that doesn't make it a whitewater boat. Cheers, I'm out. Merry Christmas.